If you come from Monica, I'm sending Jesus after you. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review part 2 of the reunion to season 4 of The Real Housewives, whose mom was trying to be a housewife of Salt Lake City. We start the second part of the reunion right where we left off with Monica versus the benchwarmer, Angie K. And Angie K kind of had Monica towards the end of last week when she told her, well, at least I'm not spending my kids' money on a bag that I can't afford. Monica had nothing to say besides, don't mention my kids, don't mention my kids, which was pretty disappointing because you have so much that you could say about Angie K. You could have talked about her pink poodle and that's what you choose to say? But all right, so Meredith, she jumps in to try to de-escalate everything and she's like, excuse me, Andy, can we please lower the temperature in this room because it's a bit cold. I'm freezing in here. I need to get a little warmer, you know what I'm saying? So then Andy, he chose this opportunity to talk about Monica and her mom and where do they stand at now. Surprise, surprise, Monica lets us know that they haven't spoken since the filming of the show wrapped. She also thinks that her mom ruined the meetup that she was supposed to have with her family in Bermuda. Why? Because Linda actually went to production and she told them, well, I want to go on the trip as well. Linda, you're a moocher as well? But same, I would have done the same thing. I would have pulled production to the side like, yeah, you want me on this trip. I have a bunch of secrets that I need to expose my daughter on. Put me on the next first class, but don't put me on that airline with the giant hole on the side of the plane. I'll see you in Bermuda. And could you imagine when they were all sitting together at the dinner and Heather was exposing Monica and she was like, I know who you are, Monica. You're reality Von Tease. And Linda was sitting right there next to her like, yeah. I mean, I was here for it, but, you know, Monica starts getting emotional, so then Andy pulls it over to Lisa. Do you still stand on your comments that you made about the relationship? So Lisa was like, that's a great question. I have two parts. So, I mean, from the outside looking in, of course, I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, why is she being so mean to her mom? But after watching the whole entire season back, I'm now realizing, wait a minute, there's more to their relationship and I can't really say anything. I have no say in that relationship, but I do feel for Monica. So Monica was like, thank you for that. I mean, I can kind of agree with what you're saying. So then Andy moved it back to her. So, your father, where's that relationship? Have you ever met him? Monica was like, well, you know what? Give me 1 second. Candace, can you give me a triangle? Thank you. You know what, Andy? I've never met my father before, but I've always been curious to see how he looks. And there goes her fucking storyline for next season. She just secured it. So now if Monica doesn't get the boot this season, we're gonna see her come back next season. We're gonna see her going through Florida up and down with her magnifying glass, trying to find her father. I see what you're doing, Monica, and I'm not mad at it. If anything, they should put her on The Real Housewives of Miami for 1 season while she looks for him. Could you imagine her and Alexia? I know she will push that lady's buttons, but Andy asked her, so, when your mother abandoned you, and I'm like, whoa, what's with this question? You already see me crying and getting emotional. You want to add more to it? He's like, when your mother abandoned you, what career did she go pursue? She says television, and he's like, well, I mean, she got on one way or another, right? And Monica actually lets us know that on her last interview that she did to try to get on the show, she thought she did really terrible, that she wasn't gonna get on the show. So she went home to cry to her mom. As she was crying in her arms, her mom, Linda, had the nerve to tell her, well, it's okay, Monica, it's okay. You know, if you don't get on the show, let's just pray that if it's not you, then I get on the show. Like, that is crazy. Like, that is insane to me. And I definitely believe that. I can definitely see Monica crying in her arms and Linda's like, it's okay, Monica. It's okay. I'm going to be in the intro holding a snowflake if it's not you, okay? Let's just pray on it. Like, that is crazy. And I did say it earlier this season that I did want Linda to be a friend of at least for this season because she was bringing it on the show more than Angie K at some point. But, you know, imagine if her and Monica would have been the first mother-daughter, you know, housewife duo to join a show. I would have been here for it. What do you think her tagline would have been? It would have been something like, my daughter thinks that she runs it, but I'm going to show her who's the real queen bee of Salt Lake City. So then Whitney couldn't help but make the situation about her. She already tried to do the same thing last week when she tried to play the Mistress Olympics with Monica by comparing cheating scandals, and she tries to do it the same here. She's like, Monica, I completely understand what you're going through because my relationship with my father, looking back on it, I thought, okay, this is enough. This is too much. I need to cut it off. It's become toxic. And if I was Monica, I would have been looking at her like, So anyway, Andy, yeah, back to me. Yeah, I really want to see my father. Like, thank you for that, Whitney. But, I was curious about that because Whitney's father, we've only seen him, I believe, season 1, and we never saw him again. She says that door is closed. I don't think that there's a future with them, unfortunately. With her mom, they just started speaking after, I believe she said 16 years. That's unfortunate. Same thing with Heather. Heather says that her and her mom, they don't speak anymore because her mom dropped her after she left the Mormon church, which is crazy to me that she would choose this crazy-ass religion over her own daughter. But she says that they only text each other happy birthday, and that's that. So it sucks for Heather, Monica, and, Whitney. And Monica also goes on to say that her ex-husband, the one that she cheated on with, I didn't have to say that, but, that husband, when he would come over, her mom actually denied him from the house. She thought, well, no, he's going to try to take her away from me. I want Monica to myself, and he's making her too happy. Well, clearly not happy enough if she had to go taste her brother-in-law's penis, but that's a whole different conversation for a different day. But he's not allowed to come over. And could you imagine your own mother blocking your happiness from you? Like, what a toxic way of living. And I wonder if Linda ever tried to fuck him to try to separate them. I wouldn't be surprised, but who knows? Andy brings up how Monica fell down the stairs at Angie's house during her Easter event. Then we see the unseen footage of Monica walking away from her mom. For some reason, she's heading downstairs to the basement. There must have been a pile of money waiting for her. So as she's walking away, she turns the corner to head downstairs, and it looks like she looks back to make sure that the cameras are following her. Like, wait a minute, I'm not about to just throw myself down these steps if the cameras aren't following me. Make sure that you follow me. Get my good angle, okay? Here we go. My leg. Did you get that on camera? Allegedly, she fell down the stairs. I say allegedly because we didn't see it. We just hear the dramatic sound effects of what sounds like Monica tumbling down like 5 flights of steps. So then the camera show Monica, and she's halfway down the steps holding her leg like, my leg, don't touch it, it hurts. But she made sure to look back one more time to make sure that they were filming. My leg. Did you get that on camera? You did? Okay, good. My leg. I'm so gonna have center snowflake. My leg. You never know with Monica, right? But she did have a bunch of scratches and wounds on her legs, so she probably wasn't lying. So then Angie, she feels some type of way because she feels that Monica is going to try to sue her for this. And she's like, Monica, you're trying to sue me unjustifiably because I didn't do anything to you? Like, you just fell down the steps? And Monica's looking at her like, what don't you have an issue with when it comes to me, Angie? It's always something with you. What do you mean I'm suing you? So they start getting into it, but Monica keeps cutting her off. Angie tells her, you know what? If you're gonna act like a child, I can handle children. Here goes Heather. Oh, she's suing you too? Yeah, she's suing me as well. You know what was so annoying about Heather this whole entire reunion so far, part 1 and part 2? That she's been sitting there in that first chair the entire time thinking that she's the baddest bitch. She's like this. So Andy asks Monica, wait, you're suing Heather? And she's like, no, I'm only countersuing because she's suing me first. Allegedly, it's because Monica went to Beauty Lab to get something done and she never paid for it. And yeah, Monica, you're not making a good case for yourself to come back for next season, but I would say it's a pretty even deal because Heather never paid Monica back for what she owed her in Bermuda when Monica's card got rejected twice, and Monica never paid for Beauty Lab. So I would say it's a pretty even deal. So then Monica, she threw Meredith underneath the bus, who Meredith, she's just been sleeping there the second part of the reunion. She woke her up because she's like, Angie, I was never gonna sue you, but Meredith, she did tell me to take your house. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And Meredith, she's just sitting there like, as soon as she heard that, she was like, no, wait a minute, I never said that. And I don't believe it because then Meredith, she kind of halfway confessed because Monica was like, yeah, you did. You said that her house is a liability, that if I sue, I could take the house. So then Meredith, she tried to clean it up just like last week, use different words. And she's like, I never said to take her house. I did, however, say that there is a liability there. Yes, indeed, I did say that. And I'm not buying the lawyer talk, Meredith, because at the time, you hated Angie K to the point where I wouldn't have put it past you to whisper in Monica's ear like, hey, I just want to let you know, as a lawyer, these are your options. And one of the options is to take her house if you want, but I'm just throwing it out there. So I'm not buying it. So then Andy moved it over to Lisa. Do you regret telling Monica this is why nobody wants to be your mom because of how you act? Lisa was like, well, she said some nasty things about me and she's just a mean person in general. So Monica threw it back at her and she's like, well, you said some nasty things about everybody on the show as well. Did you forget about Meredith? Here goes Lisa. What are you talking about? I never said that. So we don't have footage of you, Lisa, for the past 4 years on this show, trashing everybody on the show, basically, including Meredith on that hot mic moment. But now all of a sudden you're squeaky clean and you don't talk nasty about anybody on the show. Now it's only Monica. Interesting. But they get into a loud screaming match. They're talking over each other. Andy's sitting there in the middle like, maybe this is gonna be my last reunion. Maybe I'm gonna retire after this. So then Lisa, she throws a low blow at Monica and she's like, you know what? This is exactly why your mom talks to a tree, because you don't listen. The second that mom comment would have slipped out of her mouth, I would have threw it right back at her like, okay, you wanna talk about my mom? Let's talk about your son. This is why he has to go to a whole different country just to avoid a terrible mom like you who doesn't listen. Now who's a bad listener? But no, Monica wasn't quick enough on her feet. All she said was, wow, you're really gonna throw that in my face? Well, clearly she just did, Monica, so, but then Lisa was like, you know what? You also talked about my husband, John, and how he's a penis head. I'm like, when did she say that he's a penis head? And then on top of that, 2 seconds later, you want to screw him? Like, Monica, what's going on here? But then Andy, he stops it, and then he asks Monica, let's talk about your 525,600 last names. Explain that because, you go by Monica Fowler, Monica Garcia, Monica Judice, Monica Gorga, Monica Leaks, Monica Huger, Monica Richards, Monica Rena. Tell me about that. And she explained it, but I think it made sense, but she kind of lost me because she kept rambling and she was like, well, I started off with Monica Fowler, but then I got married and then I felt like eating ice cream, so I changed it to Monica Ice Cream. And then last Wednesday was my favorite Wednesday, so I changed it to Monica Wednesday. And then the sky was beautiful, so I said, you know what? Let me change my name to Monica Beautiful. And I'm like, huh? So then Andy was just like, okay, well, what are you calling yourself now? Monica Linda. I'm like, where did Linda come from? I thought it was Monica Garcia. Like, I don't know. Again, I'm pretty sure that she broke it down in a much simpler way, but with me, it wasn't really translating well. But okay, Monica, Linda, Garcia, Monica, ABC, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So they start talking about the mission that Jack was supposed to go to in Colombia, but apparently Jack has been in California this entire time, living his best life away from Lisa. And as of now, though, in current time, he's actually over there in Colombia. Lisa posted a picture of him over there, so there's that. So they question Lisa, why is he not in Colombia yet? She goes on to say, well, Jack has a nice six-pack, so he took a picture of it, he submitted it, and they rejected him. And I'm like, did I hear that correctly? Even Andy had to rewind, like, wait a minute, Lisa, what was that again? He did what? And she's like, oh yeah, he took a picture of him shirtless and he submitted it and they rejected it. And I'm like, no. Like, Lisa, what? Like, and she thinks that this behavior is cute. Like, obviously, he probably didn't even want to do this mission. Again, I feel like his whole motivation for it wasn't the church or the religious aspect. It was to get away from his mom that's so controlling and doesn't listen to him. And I guess it just goes over her head. But he asks Heather, why were you so upset about this whole situation about not being invited to the whole mission thing, the mission announcement? And Heather's answer, it told me everything I needed to know between her and Whitney, but mostly her. But we already knew this because she goes on to say, well, I was mostly hurt that Whitney got invited. Because Whitney, she's against this. We're basically in the same position, yet you invited her. And I'm like, oh, so this is still battle of the who's Lisa's besties, right? So then Whitney, she goes on to say, well, yeah, Heather, I understand, but then you call me a hypocrite for going to the announcement, and I just don't understand why you were so upset with me. And honestly, both of you are hypocrites because the fact that, Heather, you literally wrote a book, Bad Mormon, about the bad experience, about the bad Mormon, about the bad everything, yet you still want to be a part of it? Like, for what? Whitney, same thing. You said that this whole situation scarred you, it left you traumatized, yet you still want to be around it. Why? Because of Lisa? Andy was like, okay, we're going to cut the break because Mary's going to come out. The second that he said Mary, Whitney was sitting there like, what? You said Mary's coming? Oh, okay, I'm excited. She was shaking in that seat. But, we head backstage. We see Monica. She meets up with Mary. Let's talk about her outfit. I love the dress. I thought the blue was really, really nice. She looks pretty. Good look. So then she's like, oh, Monica, you look so nice. I love your dress. How's it going out there? Here goes Monica. Ooh, Mary is a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. You should see me and Lisa. We almost got to swinging. She tried to swing at me, but then I swung on her. Security got in between us. It was crazy. And then Angie K, she tried to jump me. She threw her high heel at me. It was crazy. And they're not letting me talk. They keep talking over me. It's just insane. And I'm like, I don't think that's how the story went, but okay. So then Mary was just like, okay, well, I'm sending Jesus after everybody tonight. They're going to let you talk. When I come out there, they're going to hear you out. And I'm like, uh-oh. So then we reunite everybody outside back on the stage, right? Mary comes out and sits next to Angie, and Andy says, oh, it's so nice to see you again at the reunion, being shady that she didn't show up to the season 2 reunion. She says that she never showed up because she felt disrespected on season 2, which I wonder if they told her that she couldn't mention that trash bag, Jenny, and her name, because I feel like when Jenny threw that glass at Mary at the finale of season 2, and nobody helped her out, nobody defended her, and they let Mary walk out the building by herself, that was when Mary decided that she wasn't going to come back to the show. She didn't trust any of them, and she wasn't going to show up to the reunion. Andy asked everyone what did they think about Mary coming back to the show, and they all had nice things to say, including Angie, who said, I really like Mary. I think she's funny. Here goes Mary. Now, why are you talking? You haven't even been on the show long enough to give your opinion. I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? I could have swore that she just gave you a compliment. She was just ready on go mode with Angie, right? So then Andy asked her, Mary, who do you like on the show? And Mary's looking around like, I like Angie. Angie could handle my toughness. Angie tried to play it off like it's nothing, like, oh, okay, thank you, Mary. But deep down inside, she was probably burning with passion, like, yes, I finally got Mary's approval. So Mary continues, no, not you, not you. I do like Monica. I think she's pretty. Meredith, me and her are besties. And yeah, that's it. And here goes Heather. The look that Heather was giving Mary, like she was bent all the way over, like, hello? And Mary's looking at her like, no, I used to like you, not anymore, after what I just heard in the confessional from you. When Heather went over to Mary's house for the first time, they had a nice conversation, or somewhat of a nice conversation. And in the confessional, she was being shady about the house, like, oh, what kind of Dr. Seuss chairs are these? And Mary took it personal. And Mary does talk shit in the confessional as well. But she'll say whatever she says in the confessional to your face. Heather, it's a hit or miss. So then here comes Lisa. Lisa has a very, very bad habit in jumping in conversations that do not belong to her. She gets in between both of them and she's like, well, hold on, Mary, because you said some foul things in your confessional too about Heather and about all of us. And I'm like, can you let both of them talk? Like, why are you jumping in? She brings up the inbred comment that Mary made about Heather. So Andy asks Mary, do you think that the comments that Heather made about your house are worse than what you said about her looking inbred? Here goes Mary. Yeah. And again, the only difference is that Mary actually told Heather to her face that she looks inbred. Heather was talking about her house in the confessional. Although I did agree with what Lisa told Mary. Anytime any of us return the same energy back to you, all of a sudden you want to cut us off. We can never say the same thing that you say to us back to you. And I mean, she's kind of right, because Mary could talk shit about all of them to their faces, but the second that any of them say anything back to her, and honestly, for the most part, it's only been Lisa. Lisa's the only one that could really go one-on-one with Mary and get chewed up every single time, but at least she tries. Unlike everybody else, they just let Mary just walk all over them. And, anytime anybody returns the same energy or says anything back to her, Mary, she's like, oh, you know what? No, we're done. I'm not speaking to you. And she disengaged and she walks away. So, I mean, yeah, Mary, you can't just say whatever. You can't just dish it. And then when somebody dishes it back to you, all of a sudden it's too much. They start talking about Mary's son, and Andy asked her, how do you know your son is good in bed? And I'm like, what kind of disturbing question is that? And then we see in the unseen footage, Mary was getting her glam done. She tells her makeup artist, oh, I was walking by my son's bedroom the other night and he was having sex with his wife and she was just doing way too much. She was screaming and moaning at the top of her lungs. And I had to tell her, look, if he's not doing all of that, you don't have to fake it. And I also walked in on them by mistake. And yeah, this whole conversation was just very, very creepy, very gross, and just very not needed. Like, you're talking about her son and his sex life. Like, Next, but then Andy asks Whitney, so Whitney, what did you mean on season 2 when you kept calling Mary and her husband predators? Which to this day, I still don't understand what did she mean by that back then. So Whitney tries to clean it up and she's like, well, I mean, I just feel like I was just so far gone in my religion that, that's what I thought. And now I realize now that I'm not in the Mormon religion anymore, that that's not good. And I'm so sorry, Mary. You are not a predator in any way. Mary was just like, well, yeah, I know I'm not a predator. And then I believe the follow-up question was, what did you mean with your tweet by saying, oh, Mary is an evil woman. She's mean. I can't. And Whitney was just like, yeah, I just didn't like what she was saying about me. She tweeted about me first. And then Mary was just like, yes, I did tweet about you. All I said was, yeah, Whitney's racist. What about it? I'm like, wait a minute. She said it so nonchalant, like, yeah, you're racist. What about it? She was actually replying to a picture of Jenny and Whitney, and given the history with Jenny, of course she grouped Whitney together and she said Whitney is racist. But Whitney, according to her, the reason why that picture came to be was because she had an event. Jenny showed up, announced she didn't know she was showing up. She asked Whitney for a photo and she thought, well, if I say no, she might throw a tantrum, she might make a scene, it might ruin my event. So let me just take a picture of her and that's that and, keep it moving. But I mean, Whitney, you should have said no. I mean, that's just a bad look, but... and do I personally think Whitney is racist? Not to discredit Mary's feelings at all, because, we don't know what she says or what's going on behind the scenes. But I never got that vibe from Whitney. Now, other cast members on the show, Lisa, then we could talk about it, and we will talk about it in a second. But Whitney, dumb? Yes. Racist? But, Andy asked her. Well, first of all, Lisa and Heather, their reactions to this comment, Whitney, she remained calm. She wanted to hear out Mary what she had to say about this. But then Heather and Lisa, I'm looking at you, Lisa, they were like, no, Whitney could never be racist. What are you talking about? No, she's not racist. First of all, both of you are white women. You two have no say in this conversation, so stay out of it. Let Mary explain. Andy was just like, so Mary, why do you think that Whitney is racist? She's like, well, I mean, it's not necessarily that she did or said anything to me. It's just, I believe she was talking about something with the Bible or religion. I'm not really sure, because she said something about the blood of Cain. I don't know what that is. The blood of Cain looks at people of the skin complexion of Mary. Once they die and go to heaven. Again, this is according to what Mary was saying. They go to heaven and they end up, the help. And, since Whitney was a part of that religion, of course, she grouped them into the racist group. Like, okay, you obviously see me as the help in the afterlife. So, of course, you must be racist as well. But she made sure to say, she never did or said anything racist to her. As she's talking about the Mormon religion being racist, Whitney and Heather, they're agreeing with her. Like, yeah, it is racist. This is why we got out of it. We don't believe in stuff like this. Lisa, on the other hand, she is squirming in her seat. She is losing her shit. She's like, excuse me, but me, I have a comment. Wait, can I talk? But can I talk? And I'm like, Lisa, like, relax, like, oof, it is not looking good for you. The fact that Heather, you thought she was gonna agree with you, and she's actually agreeing with Whitney. And again, this brings back the conversation of both of you being hypocrites, because both of you know that this whole religion thing is racist, a bunch of bullshit, yet you still want to show up to Jack's mission thing, which, by the way, I already said a million times before, that this whole bullshit thing that Jack is doing, going to Colombia as a white boy, trying to get Colombians and, Latinos to convert into this crazy cult is crazy to me. I don't get how they think that this is okay. I don't get how Lisa thinks this is okay. Obviously, not too much up there, because she's just squirming in her seat and everything. She's just malfunctioning. She starts telling Mary, she starts sounding like Dorit from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's like, wait a minute, but Mary, I believe she said that the guy that went to church was like Theory or something. Theory, he's black and he's in the Mormon religion. And I'm like, Lisa, no, you did not just use that as an excuse. And Mary just ignored her. Everybody was just ignoring her. And, that's equivalent to what Dorit said, like, 2-3 seasons ago? Like, oh, I know black people, the people that, work around the house. And it is just a mess, Lisa. Your true colors are showing, like... And then out of nowhere, she throws it out there. I'm a Mormon Jew. I'm Jewish. And I just don't understand why Dorit and Lisa feel the need to announce that when they're having a conversation about racism. Like, where's the correlation? are both of you related? So then Mary was just like, you know what? I'm going to leave the Mormon church over there. I'm going to be over here. I have no issue with them, but I'm going to be over here. And here goes Lisa. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Let's keep it that way. And I just wish that somebody would have told Lisa to shut the hell up. Like, does she hear herself? Like, just insane. But I also wish that they would have talked about Mary's comments that she made on season 2 about Mexicans and thugs and, that whole conversation. But that was that. We moved on from that. And then they asked Mary, what did you think about the finale? And, Heather being dramatic and the whole receipts, this timeline, screenshots. And she feels that they were doing way too much. They weren't looking at themselves and how, they were just pointing fingers at Monica. But what about themselves? And then here goes Lisa. Lisa and Heather, they came into this whole reunion planned up because Lisa whispers over to Heather, okay, get the audio. And then here goes Heather's lame ass. Let me get my phone. Ooh, it's at 2%. I need to charge it. Okay, let me put the audio. And Lisa tells Mary, how would you like it if Monica called you a dumb bitch? So Mary's like, what are you talking about? Next thing you know, we hear the recording of Monica. She is talking about somebody, and I'm not really sure. I need the full context because I'm not really sure if she was talking about Mary or if this was just another flop recording that Heather brought out for no reason, because Monica, we hear her in the background and she's like, oh yeah, so-and-so is a dumb bitch. And, I feel like messaging Mary, I'm pretty sure that she's going to read this from her burner account or something like that. And Monica was like, no, you need to let the whole thing play out because obviously there's more to the story. I'm not talking about Mary. And I don't think that she would put it out there that she's not talking about Mary if they have the recordings. I'm pretty sure that she will admit that, yeah, I was talking about, Mary because she's been honest, or at least somewhat honest, about talking shit about all of you. So why, hide anything from Mary? So I don't know. Then the conversation also circled back to Whitney, by the way. I forgot to mention how, Andy asked Mary, so did Whitney ever do or say anything racist to you? And Mary confirms that no, Whitney has never done or said anything racist to her. She only judged her based on the racist religion. And Whitney, she was understanding, and she even told Mary, I can see how you perceive me that way. It was all based on the religion that I used to be a part of. I'm no longer a part of it, and we could move on. You see, Lisa and Dorit and Heather, how easy it was for her to just listen and just take in what Mary said and her explanation without getting defensive or having any type of pushback or saying that they're Jewish. Like, it's just so simple. But, that was that. And we have one last part to this crazy reunion so far. And I do wonder, where are we leaving off with this? Because like I said last week, I think Monica, I think her time is up. But we shall see how this whole thing plays out next week. Let me know what you all thought about this whole entire second part of the reunion down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.